Alright. Pixar. All good?
Okay, Ryan today is going to be speaking to us on Pixar.
Alright. A toy cowboy gets jealous when his owner starts playing with another toy instead of him. A clownfish must travel across the ocean to find his son. An old man lifts his house with nothing but balloons. And a rat becomes a chef at a pristine French restaurant. Now, when you hear all of these stories together, what do you think of? You think of Pixar. These unlandish, almost unpredictable stories all ended up coming from this awesome studio called Pixar. So, although Pixar seems like the gold standard of animation, their title is not given to them lightly whatsoever. With their company's unpredictable beginnings and their unique style of running their business, Pixar is able to succeed where others have failed. So I grew up on Pixar, like most of you have. I watched and rewatched all of their films, especially in middle school. I remember watching Finding Nemo 5 times in 1 year because my teacher had a lot of substitutes that year. Yep. Because of my love for Pixar, I wanted to learn more about it. So, like any other big thing, there's origins. So I'll be talking about the beginnings and origins of Pixar, a key creative factor about their success, why they're so successful, and then lastly I will show you the steps it takes for a certain scene in one of their films. So, according to Pixar's official website, Pixar did not start where you thought it would have started. So, right there, it actually started with George Lucas. To be honest, George Lucas had a computer division. He invited Ed Catmull, which is currently the president of Pixar and the president of Disney Animation Studios. Later on, he invited John Lasseter. And John Lasseter, I hope everyone has at least heard of that name before. Actually, before he got invited to Lucasfilm Computer Division, he recently got fired from his dream job at Disney. And then, in 1986, Steve Jobs bought the computer division from George Lucas and then renamed it Pixar. From there, Pixar entered its commercial era, this era where they ended up creating their commercial animations for their programming. Some of their clips, their shorts, were Luxo Jr., that famous desk lamp everyone knows about, Red's Dream, and then Tin Toy, which I will get back to later on. Then in 1991, Disney and Pixar made an agreement that they will at least create one feature animated film. Then, on November 22nd, 1995, Toy Story was created, which brings me back to Tin Toy. Tin Toy was the basis for Toy Story. Toy Story will be nominated for Best Original Song, Best Original Score, and Best Original Screenplay from the Academy of Motion Pictures and Arts. Toy Story took the animated industry to new levels, but how is it that Pixar created this level of excellence? How is it that all of their films ended up being #1 box office hits? According to this picture, every single film at least grossed $300 million, with the exception of Toy Story 3, which grossed $1 billion in the year. So why is it that they're so successful? The reason why they're so successful is because they have this thing called the brain trust. According to a book that's called Creative Incorporated from Ed Catmull, by the way, the brain trust is Pixar's primary system for upcoming and current projects. They meet a few times a month. And when you think about it, the brain trust sounds like a regular staff meeting. So why is it so different from a regular company's types of meetings? According to Paul Whitkey, a founder and CEO of Pixar, candor is what makes the brain trust work. And according to Webster definition, candor is the quality of being open, sincere, and honest. So 2 rules that they have for the brain trust is that 1, members must have a strong and passionate understanding of storytelling, which makes sense. And then rule number 2, the brain trust has absolutely no authority, which means no one can get fired with their stupid ideas. And even if they are stupid, maybe they're not. That means also the director doesn't have to use their ideas. That's why stories like Up, like Old Man lifting his house with balloons, or even their upcoming film in June 2015, Inside Out, can't exist because of the brain trust. There is no authority. Now that we know about the history and key factor of why Pixar is so successful, let's break down one of their most outlandish films, Ratatouille, which is personally my favorite. So next slide, right here. There are 7 stages. The first stage is story. Story. They have to draw everything. They draw everything and they even record their voices before they even start animating. Next slide. Then they do layout. It doesn't look that pretty, right? No, it doesn't. This is because they need to just create the characters, create the world in the computer first before they can actually animate it. Then they go to blocking. What's in front of them? What's in their hands? What's behind them? Are they sitting on something? And then finally they actually go into animation. They have to go through these 3 stages, which when you think about it, might actually take years before they actually animate stuff. The next one is simulation, cloth and hair. If you've seen Brave, you've seen Merida's hair, right? It's like full and huge. It took them forever. They had an entire stage for hair and cloth. Then you have effects. They're holding this potato in their hand. The skin is going to fly everywhere. They have, in Ratatouille at least, they have pots and pans with fire, with steam coming out. They need to animate it. It's not going to appear by themselves. Then lastly, they have lighting. Now it looks like the film you've seen on the screen. You see, and lighting is very important because it will change the mood of the entire scene. So here are the 7 stages they need to go through for a single scene. This is why it takes about 4 years to create one of these films. By the way, you guys can actually, I screenshotted these. There's a video on YouTube. It's actually from IGN. It's called Ratatouille Progression Reel if you'd like to look it up. And so, Ratatouille grossed $620 million. It won the Academy Award and the Golden Globe for Best Animated Feature Film. And so, Pixar was founded in 1986, and as of today, the studio released 14 films, 15 this year for Inside Out, and all of them were box office successes. No one would have thought, not even John Lasseter, not even Steve Jobs would have thought of the unpredictable and how amazing and how successful they would have been. Each film is an original, and us as an audience, we're not going to be able to predict what they have next in store for us. So, in closing, I can say that this company would not have happened if John Lasseter did not get fired at Disney, if George Lucas did not invite Ed Catmull, the current president right now, and if Steve Jobs didn't invest his time, didn't invest into this computer division. And so, from the words of a very sophisticated rat named Remy, the only thing predictable about life is its unpredictability.